Have you ever felt like you're just spinning your wheels? You know, trying to build a good habit or maybe kick a bad one, but it just never seems to stick? Yeah, we've all been there. But what if I told you the secret wasn't about some massive, heroic effort? What if it was about making changes so small you barely even notice them? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today with James Clear's Atomic Habits.
Okay, so the whole thing kicks off with some math that's kind of surprising. We tend to think that if we want big, dramatic results, we need to take big, dramatic action. But this book argues that the real, lasting change comes from something much quieter, the power of tiny 1% improvements, day in and day out.
So what does that number even mean? Get this. If you were to get just 1% better at something every single day for a year, you wouldn't be 365% better. No, you'd be nearly 38 times better. That is the magic of compounding. Your habits are basically the compound interest of self-improvement.
Think about it like this. Imagine a plane taking off from New York. If the pilot adjusts the heading by just 3.5 degrees, a tiny, almost unnoticeable shift, it won't land in its original destination. It'll land in a completely different city, Washington, D.C. And that's exactly what our daily habits do. A small choice today can steer your entire life to a totally different destination down the road.
You know, we often get frustrated when we don't see results right away. But think of an ice cube. If you put it in a room that's 25 degrees and you slowly warm it up, nothing happens at 26 degrees or 28 or even 31. But then at 32 degrees, bam, it starts to melt. The breakthrough wasn't the 1-degree change, it was all the work that came before it. Progress is often invisible, right up until the moment it isn't.
All right, so if that's the what, how do we actually do it? Well, this is where the book flips a really common idea on its head, the obsession with setting goals. It suggests there's a much better way, a focus on systems.
Here's the thing. Winners and losers, they often have the exact same goals. So the goal itself can't be what separates them. Goals can also create this weird yo-yo effect. You work your tail off to run a marathon, you cross the finish line, and then what? The motivation just vanishes? A system, on the other hand, is the process. And when you fall in love with the process itself, the results just naturally follow.
Okay, let's go a level deeper now. This is probably the most powerful idea in the whole book. It goes beyond what you do and gets to the core of who you are. Think about behavior change in 3 layers, kind of like an onion. On the outside, you have outcomes. That's the stuff you want to achieve, like losing weight. The next layer in is your process. That's your new workout routine or your diet. But the very core, the most important part, is your identity, what you believe about yourself. Real, lasting change happens from the inside out.
And this quote just nails it. It's the huge difference between saying, "I'm trying to quit smoking," versus saying, "I'm not a smoker." The first one is a process, a struggle. The second, that's a statement about who you are. It's so much easier to act in alignment with who you already believe you are.
So how do you actually build this new identity? Well, you prove it to yourself with small wins. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the person you want to be. Go to the gym? That's a vote for, I'm a healthy person. Write 1 page? That's a vote for, I'm a writer. Your habits literally shape your identity over time.
Okay, so we've got the big ideas down, right? Compounding gains, focusing on systems, changing your identity. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the actual how-to blueprint for building these habits.
Turns out, every single habit you have, and I mean every habit, good or bad, follows this simple 4-step pattern. Your phone buzzes, that's the cue. You feel the urge to see the message, that's the craving. You pick up the phone, that's the response. And you satisfy your curiosity, that's the reward. This little loop is running on autopilot for you all day long.
And here's the beautiful part. We can actually take control of that loop. We can engineer it. For each of those 4 steps, there's a simple rule or a law we can follow. To build good habits, we want to make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the response easy, and the reward satisfying. And to break bad habits, we just flip it.
All right, this is where the rubber meets the road. Let's talk about some super practical strategies you can use right now, based on those 4 laws, to basically become the architect of your own life.
Okay, first big takeaway here. Willpower is totally overrated. Seriously. Motivation is fickle, it comes and it goes. The people who seem the most disciplined, they're not superheroes. They're just really good architects of their environment. They've designed their world so that doing the right thing is the easy thing.
To make a good habit obvious, you've got to prime your environment.
You want to eat more fruit? Don't hide it in the fridge. Put it in a bowl right on the counter where you can't miss it. Want to go for a run in the morning? Lay your workout clothes out the night before. You're just making the cues for your good habits impossible to ignore.
And for your bad habits, you just do the exact opposite. You make them invisible and difficult. If you're spending too much time on your phone, delete the social media apps. That little bit of extra effort to re-download them is often enough to stop the mindless scrolling. You're just adding a little bit of friction to make the bad habit harder to do.
Now, what about making habits easy? This next one, this is an absolute game changer. It's called the 2-minute rule. The logic is simple. The hardest part of any new habit is just getting started. This rule is all about mastering the art of showing up. The idea is to scale down any habit until it takes less than 2 minutes. Run 3 miles sounds daunting on a tired day, but put on my running shoes? Anyone can do that. Read a chapter before bed can feel like a chore, but read 1 page? Easy. You standardize before you optimize. You build the habit first, then you improve it.
And for that last law, making it satisfying, there's nothing more satisfying than seeing your own progress. The comedian Jerry Seinfeld has this legendary productivity trick. He gets a big wall calendar, and every day he writes jokes, he puts a big red X on that day. After a few days, you've got a chain, and your only job becomes, don't break the chain.
And this brings it all back to the power of compounding, doesn't it? A bad workout is infinitely better than no workout. Why? Because it keeps the chain alive. It reinforces your identity. The golden rule is simple. Never miss twice. 1 bad day is an accident. 2 is the start of a new habit.
So when you put it all together, what's the takeaway? It's not about some grand, heroic effort. It's about starting ridiculously small. It's about casting one more vote for the person you want to become. So the real question for you is this: what's the one 2-minute habit you can start today to get on a new path?